Welcome, everyone. Welcome to our meeting as our youth council meeting tonight for January the 17th, 2019. I'm going to ask everyone if you would please pull out your phones and silence them for me, please. Thank you so much. We'll now have our invocation by Pastor Britt Peavy from the Westward Church of God.
Thank you so much. I'm honored to be here and appreciate what you all are doing. The word vocation is a word that we use to mean, what we do, the work that we do. But what it actually means is our calling. And so when we give an invocation, one of the things we're doing is we're asking God to come down and help us in our work, help us in our calling, help us in what we're doing. We're calling on God to come down and help us. And the scripture says it's the Lord that works in us, both to will and doing of His good pleasure. It says He created us for good works. And if we call on Him and believe in Him and trust in Him, He is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all that we ask or even think, according to His power that works in us. So it's good to start this meeting by calling on God to help us in our calling to serve others. So let's pray. Father, Lord, I am so grateful, Lord, for these young men and women that are taking their time to serve the public. And Lord, it's inspiring to us. There's a lot of bad news that we're surrounded with, but I wish people could see these bright young people and see their smiles, see their commitment to doing what is right and good. And we're asking you to help us, Lord. Asking you to help them, asking you to help our city, asking you to be a part of it, dear Lord. It's not a small thing when we call on you and ask you in. In fact, that's the way we can receive salvation, is to call on your name, believe in your name, and confess your name. And that's the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. So we thank you for it in advance, for your working in us and through us. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. We'd like to thank you for that great invocation that you just gave. We'll now have our pledge of allegiance, and if everybody could please stand and face our flag, please. And this will be by the ambitious young men of the mentoring program. Thank you guys for coming. That was great. Thank you. I'll now turn this over to our junior city clerk.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
I will now read the minutes. These are the minutes from November 15, 2018. There was seven Mayor's Youth Council members that attended, 6 were absent. The Mayor's Youth Council was called to order by Junior Commissioner Samantha Martin. City Clerk Juanita Boulder gave the invocation. The Pledge of Allegiance was led by Junior City Clerk Tierra Thrower. The minutes from October 18, 2018 was presented by Tierra Thrower, Junior City Clerk. A motion to approve the order of the minutes was made by Junior Commissioner Ashanti Glover and seconded by City Commissioner Leah Carswell. The motion was unanimously carried. Recognition of the Teen Court. Denitra Williams, NYC Teen Court Coordinator, thanked the Teen Court participants while also sharing some information about the Douglas Coffee County Teen Court. Litzy Huggins, Board of Education representative, appeared before the Junior Commission to talk on behalf of juveniles, and the fact that she is glad that we have started a Coffee County Teen Court. She wishes us the best of luck. Career Spotlight General Manager of SunTrust Bank, Mr. Corey Holland, shared banking tips for teen and responsibilities of being a bank general manager. Youth Spotlight. Samantha Martin, Junior Commissioner, introduced Finance Attorney Alexis Davis as the Youth Spotlights of the month. She requested names of outstanding youth for anyone that is aware of one in their community, church, or organization. Anna Escobar gave the updates of events for coffee for Douglas. She also gave an update on social media for NYC. The Junior Commission gave closing comments. Motion to adjourn was made at 6:51 p.m. and was passed unanimously.
Can I get a motion to approve those minutes, please?
I, Samantha Martin, first that motion.
Can I get a motion to second that, please?
I, Savannah Cawthorn, second that motion.
It has been second. Any further discussions? All opposed? Motion carried. We'll now approve the agenda for this. Can I get a motion, please?
I, Samantha Martin, first that motion.
Can I get a second?
I, Savannah Cawthorn, second that motion.
It has been second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? I'll now turn this over to Ms. Williams.
Good evening.
Good evening.
And welcome to the Mayor's Youth Council meeting, our regular session meeting for January 17th. It's a pleasure to have you with us today. And I thank you for taking time, bless you. I thank you for taking time of your schedule to come and join us, as well as support our young individuals. They are remarkable. Most of these young people before me have calendars and schedules that are more tedious than the average adult or corporate exec, because they have quite a bit on their schedule. They are accomplishing great things. Most of them are also dually enrolled because they will actually, some get their degree prior to getting their high school diploma. Isn't that awesome? So we have some young people, some very bright people in our community, and we welcome you to be a part of it. We're actually still taking applications for Mayor's Youth Council for the next term. We've had an awesome first breaking history term, and we're looking forward to continuing with the next group. So please, if you're interested or you know of a youth person that is interested, please contact me or come to City Hall and ask for Miss Juanetta, and we can get some applications. I think there are applications actually in the front, in the foyer. So it is with great pleasure that I have this opportunity today to honor one of our teen court volunteers, one of the very first of our adult volunteers. Mr. Myers started with the orientation. He let me know that he was very interested in Douglas Coffee County youth and have been a part of that community for quite some time in his career. And he wanted to continue that by being a part of this initiative. And it was with honor that we served together. He has passed. I was heartbroken I was reaching out actually as a reminder of our first session, our first teen court session, and I was informed that he in fact had passed. So with that being said, if I could have the junior mayor and our mayor to come forward, as well as Mrs. Myers, and just meet them right there. And it says, the City of Douglas, Georgia honors John Jack Myers for your spirit of commitment to our community as one of the original volunteers of the Douglas Coffee County Teen Court. Your support and dedication is greatly appreciated by our teen court. Yes. Our first judge, would you also join us in the picture? Would you like to say? No. No. But thank you so much, Mrs. Myers, for coming. And we did quite enjoy Mr. Myers' tenure with us, and his spirit of commitment to the community lives on with these young people. So thank you very much for coming. And as always, it is an extra pleasure to recognize our youth. Like I said, we have some awesome ones here, but they're not limited just to the Mayor's Youth Council and Teen Court. We have some awesome youth people in our community. And if you know of any that are tied to your church, your organization, athletically inclined, that are doing some awesome things, let us know. It is a privilege to recognize them and let Douglas know that we really have some awesome youth. And we want everybody to know what they're doing. That is one of the things that are near and dear to our mayor's heart. So we try to carry it on not only in the adult meeting, but with the Mayor's Youth Council as well. So with that being said, our honoree, our youth spotlight for this month is Emery Mormon. He's one of our prosecuting attorneys for Teen Court. And he just texted me, he is tied up in his Regents swimming competition. So he thought he was going to be able to wrap up and run. Like I said, they have some awesome schedules. They're being pulled several places, but he was trying to make it in. And he said he would do everything to be here, but I guess he couldn't swim here fast enough. So we'll get that award to him. And with that, I would like to leave with one of my quotes that I try to inspire our youth each meeting. And since we are honoring Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., this quote is from him, and it says, "Life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others?" With that, I turn it back over to the mayor.
Thank you. We will now hear from our Teen Court collaborative partner.
Good evening. Thank you all for having me. My name is Ian Sansott. I'm one of your assistant district attorneys here in Coffee County. And I had the honor of serving, I guess it was December, at the first Teen Court as the judge. And yeah, I had an absolute blast. I recognize some faces from that. I know not everybody's involved with every time, and then there's some rotation and all that. I wish I could have been there this last time too. I really had a great time, and part of the reason is you guys. Y'all are insanely intelligent and very smart, and did such an amazing job. And I'm looking forward to coming back and seeing y'all grow and develop throughout the process and everything as nerves get shaken off and as you get used to the standing up and getting in front of people and all that, because it really is great. The experience y'all are getting through that, even if it's not something that you take into a law practice or anything like that, is you're not going to get that anywhere else. Most people's exposure to the law is just watching it on TV, which ain't accurate. So, But I went to undergraduate school. Went to Coe Falls College, a Bible college in Northeast Georgia. It's an excellent school if you're looking at colleges. Majored in philosophy and religion. When I started, I didn't really know what exactly I wanted to do. I knew I just kind of liked thinking. Not so great at it, but I enjoyed it. It wasn't until about my junior year I decided I wanted to go to law school. And part of the reason for that was as I was raised, and I'm sure y'all might be as well, my parents instilled in me figure out what you like to do, figure out what you love doing, and then figure out how to get paid to do it. That was what my parents taught me growing up. What do you want to be? Okay, well, what do you like doing? Figure out how to get paid to do it. And it's not about figure out what job you enjoy doing, because every job has parts that are not fun, that you don't like, that make it a grind, and that's going to happen. But the issue is figure out what you love to do, and then figure out how to get paid to do it. And one of the things I like doing is talking. And I was not given a time limit either, so I hope y'all are comfortable. I'm joking. I'm worn out and so happy that tomorrow's Friday. But I like talking. I've always loved arguing. My parents did not like that so much, nor did my older brother, but I always liked arguing. I like thinking and strategizing. And growing up, my parents always told me, you need to be a lawyer. You like arguing so much. And I honestly never put much stock in that. It was always a joke. But one day, like I said, in college, it finally clicked for me. Yeah, I could get paid doing that. So I went to law school in Atlanta. I went to Georgia State. Excellent law school. There's only a couple law schools in Georgia, obviously, but it's one of them is great. Unfortunately, I'm sorry if this offends anyone, but it was in Atlanta, and I can't stand Atlanta. I was happy to leave there, but ended up down here in Douglas, working at a private law firm. That's what I did first. It was mostly bankruptcy stuff. A lot of times, if you're interested in law, you might get asked, a lot of people ask you, you want to do defense or prosecution? And that's about half of all legal work that exists out in the world. I did a little bit of the civil stuff. I did some bankruptcy, some personal injury stuff for just under a year. Not long at all. Not long enough, and it's been long enough that I don't even remember most of it at this point. There is a wide assortment of things. If you're interested in the law at all, it's not all about getting up in front of people and arguing. I love it. I was in dramas and stuff all through high school and in college, and so I enjoy getting up, putting up a show. But not everybody likes that, and that's fine. But there's so many different areas of law. There's the people who draft and contracts, and the strategy there is making sure that whatever you're drafting, no matter what happens, your client comes out on top, or arguing about what's on that contract, or drafting a will for people. There's a bunch of corporate attorneys who get paid to work for a corporation to handle all their needs. There's tons of different areas of law that can, in which you can use all your skills, whatever skill set that is. But if this is something you're interested in doing, I would absolutely recommend, of course, if you're a part of this program, I'm assuming you're going to be involved in teen court as well, but get involved in that. Step up, be one of the attorneys involved with it. Those who have done it, I'm sure will tell you, it's scary at first. You're nervous. That's real life too, by the way. First time getting in the courtroom, whoo, scary. But you get used to it, and that's anything new. It's you get in, and then you turn around, and this is just familiar at this point. This is what we do, and you end up shaking some of that rust out, and it can be a whole lot of fun. As I said, I work at the DA's office, so I'm a prosecutor. I'm on one side of it, and I got friends on the other side of it. We go in, we put up our case, and whatever happens, happens. That's how our criminal justice system works. It's far from perfect, but comparatively, throughout history, it's great. Throughout what other countries and other places do, it's excellent. There's certain rules to make it fair for everybody, as well as where the burden is. In criminal cases, the state has the burden. I'm the one in court that has to prove everything. Defense doesn't have to prove a thing. Up until conviction. Once a conviction happens, that burden finally flips. But the state has that burden. That's to protect anyone who's accused. Because our founding fathers decided a long time ago, hey, we need to make sure we limit innocent people who didn't actually do it from getting in trouble. So that's the standard. Again, it's not perfect, but it's good, and I love it. I honestly love it. I have an absolute passion for the law in any capacity, whether it's we got some motion we're arguing and I've got to research case law because I get to strategize and then argue, but I enjoy I love the criminal justice system that we have. I think it's absolutely great. As I said, it's not perfect and there's room for tweaking and improvement on anything, but it's absolutely great. And so if you have any kind of interest in the law, it doesn't have to be criminal. Again, that's a half of it. Based on paperwork, it's probably like a tenth of it. The civil side has a lot more paperwork than we do, but it's a blast. And so I encourage you to stay involved with teen court. Keep at it. If you're scared, oh, I can't get up in front of people and talk, just do it. Get up there, do it. Do it a couple times. It's eventually, like I said, same thing. It's just, you get familiar with it, you get confident, you get comfortable. So, again, thank you all very much for having me and for the work y'all are doing. Y'all doing an excellent job.
Thank you.
All right.
Well, I will ask this one. As the attorneys started to prepare for the cases, they did have the jitters. Most of them were working those out, but a few of them had concern once they found out this is like really real, and maybe they're not going to like me because I'm prosecuting them, or I'm trying to sentence them to something. So they're like, what do you do? I mean, how do you get over that part that you're not the liked one in the room?
Well, depends on the case and which side of it you're on. I am disliked by a lot of people, no question about that. But a lot of times, in most cases, there's also a victim that I'm advocating for. You see, the role of the prosecutor as well is to do justice. It's not to seek a conviction. My job is not to make sure that every person who's accused of something gets hammered as hard as possible. Sometimes justice means that the hammer comes down on somebody. Sometimes it means we work this out to something less. Sometimes it means an acquittal or dismissal. It happens. And that's the focus. Now, as far as what other people think, a part of that is honestly not worrying about it. If you are doing your job, as part of my job, I took an oath when I came in. When you become a lawyer, there's an oath you take, and then if you do other jobs, whether it's a public defender job, which is also a great career. I've got one of my closest friends works at the public defender's office. We don't actually fight like cats and dogs. We will in the courtroom, but anyway, the idea is this is my job that I'm doing. He's doing his job over here, and at the end of the day, what happens happens, and you really can't worry too much about it because there is a duty. At least on my part, that's how I see it. As a prosecutor, I have certain duties. When I came in, I raised my hand, I took an oath to execute the laws of the Constitution and the laws of the state of Georgia and the Constitution of the United States. I took that very seriously. And so a part of that is simply doing my duty, and if that's my overriding concern, like I said, it's an adversarial system. You got somebody on the other side. You ain't gonna keep them happy. I can't imagine many of the people that I've prosecuted like me. It's not gonna be how it is. But I do know that there are plenty of people who I've come across, and those who've doing it much longer than me have come across, who that same person years later may come to that prosecutor. I've seen it happen, and they say, "Hey, you prosecuted me." Again, this isn't me. This is somebody who's been doing it a lot longer. You prosecuted me 15 years ago. You saved my life. Thank you. And that's an amazing feeling whenever anything like that happens, because they were going down a path And whatever happened, and the prosecutor who had that, he's like, I don't even remember this person. I have no idea who that was. But that's a wonderful feeling. So.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to thank you again for shedding some light on this. It's really appreciated. I do would like to say that I've made a mistake. I've currently forgot about something on our agenda for tonight. Forgive me, I'm just not as good as the mayor as many times as I've did this. But I would like to recognize Miss Ashanti Glover. I like to say a few words about her because anytime that I see her, whether it's at school, whether it's at church, whether it's anywhere, she's always been that same funny person that I always have seen. Now you say one person is one place and then another way when you get somewhere else. I've never had to experience that with Miss Ashanti, and I really appreciate that. I just want to congratulate her tonight and give her this.
And Ms. Glover, if you will give them your bio, please.
Introduce yourself. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My name is Ashanti Glover, and I am 11th grade at Coffee High School. I am also a dual enrollment student at South Georgia College. My bad. I am also an active member at NSHS, the One Act competition team, the Advanced Drama 3 class, and I also participate fully in my choir at church and on my praise dance team. In 2020, I will graduate from high school with honors and from South Georgia College with an Associates of Arts degree. That's all. Thank you.
Well, and I have a few select words from my career spotlight from the military, from Post 515 Commander Ms. Walker.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
And if you didn't know, my name is Alphaline, real country. I don't sound like it. Anyway, I am the commander for Post 515 here in Douglas, Georgia. I actually am the first female commander that they've had at the post in the 60 years that the post is there. And how I garnered that position was because I served 21 and a half years in the United States Air Force. So that's been a long time ago. I've been retired for over 20 years. So like the mayor, we don't look our age, but we are well-defined people, because if any of you have ever heard of the military, a lot of people always think of the Army. The military consists of various services. You have the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marine Corps, the Coast Guard, and the Merchant Marines. We choose whichever we want to go into based on ASVAB scores and what you want to do. One of the things that most people don't understand, once you go into the military, a military post, base, whatever you want to call it, is like a city within a city. I served as my first job as a med tech delivering babies. Then when I got offered another opportunity and got married and had a child, I switched over to public relations. What that basically meant is I was a photographer and a journalist and a speechwriter for generals. So therefore, the way you hear me speak now is not the way that I spoke then, because I originally am from Jacksonville, Georgia. So I do not have a southern twang anymore. I do not. But I'm back home because after I retired, I decided that I needed to come back and give something to the community. But while I've traveled over 26 I've moved 26 different times. Lived overseas most of the time. I speak Italian and some Spanish. I've worked for NATO. I was in the Bosnian conflict. And you say, how can you do that as a female? Well, like the mayor can tell you, just because there are men on one side of you, there are females doing the same job that men did. But we don't always get the recognition. But he can tell you, and that agreement is we're just as smart. Just as smart. From mechanics, from crew line mechanics, to medics, to judges, to legal professionals, to anything that you will ever have, to air traffic controllers. You will be working alongside men and women. So you say there was some interest in, some of you who are interested in the military, you are dual enrolled, so you can take your college degree and become an officer in the military. You can do that. Or you can remain as a senior enlisted person. I had a degree, but I chose to be senior enlisted because the mayor will tell you the senior enlisted people run the military. It's not the officers. Go on record. Right, Mayor?
Correct.
That's what we did. We tell them what to do and we teach them what to do. So you have that option of doing whichever one you want. They'll gladly take you in either or. There are people who have been enlisted for a number of years and then they transition to become officers because that's a goal. It means more pay and it means doing other things. So that's it. But the one thing I want you to remember, in order to make that first step, you have to take an ASVAB test. That ASVAB test is online. The short form and the long version is all online. It will talk about mechanics. It will talk about English. It will tell you about everything. And what that is, it gives the recruiters an idea of where you want to go into. Like I said, the first thing that job I went into was as a military medic, and I was delivering babies for like 3 years. Then I decided to change, and with my ASVAB scores, I moved into another one. So if you're serious about it, any of you, no better time than the present. If you are really interested in the military, Coffee High School has a junior ROTC program. One of your members there is a member. I've worked alongside of her with the American Legion. It teaches you the customs and the courtesies of the Navy, but it all relates the same. We might dress in different uniforms, but the mission, the vision is all the same. We are here to protect the country, and we do it gladly. No matter if you're a woman, male, white, black, Hispanic, no matter what it is, we are a big, happy family. If you've ever gone onto a military base and see everybody working together, there's no delineation of color. There's no delineation with sex. The thing is, you have to work wherever it is. Now, you might have heard some stories and say there are things that have happened. Sure, with every situation, with every business, there's always somebody that turns the wrong screw somewhere. But the mayor can tell you we are proud military people. He and I have a joke. He's Army and I'm Air Force, and I always tell him we got the best service there is because we don't live in barracks. We live in dormitories, and we eat food they eat out of chow hall, out of bags. So it all is what it is. But needless to say, when we are fighting alongside of each other, or we're sitting up as a panel just like you are, there's that brothership, there's that sisterhood, there's that camaraderie that we all have. And the thing about it is, if this is something you've dedicated your lives to, the thing is you can take it to another level and serve your country. You don't also have to join the military to serve the country. Unfortunately, you see the turmoil that civilians are going through right now because some of them aren't being paid. You can do the same thing as a civil service employee with the military. So it's not always wearing a uniform, you know, getting out there running and doing whatever it is, because you can always go as a civil servant. So whether you choose a military career or whether you choose one as a civil servant, please remember that what it does, it brings camaraderie. You get another family from someplace else that you never imagined you have. Just the other day, I will tell you a personal experience. I used to work for NATO in Naples, Italy, and I worked for all the admirals and stuff. And I got a message from Facebook. It was from an Italian friend a soldato that I worked in an office with. He is now working in Rome and wants me to come back and work with him because we had a close working relationship. So you see, it's still like a family, no matter what you served in, what your race is, whatever you were. He served in the Navy, the Italian Navy, and now he's out and he's working as well. So I encourage you, if you have any questions about joining the military, we have a post full of people from all services, men and women, who will be glad to talk to you, help you, motivate you to do whatever you want to do. I was also asked to tell you about some of the things we're doing at Post 515. We are so very fortunate. We just ended our Wreaths Across America program. I don't know how many of you are familiar with that, but this is a program at the Arlington National Cemetery. There's a wreath placed at the unknown soldier's grave. So we came up with the whole idea. There are unknown soldiers, sailor, airmen, Marine, and Coast Guard who are all around Coffee County. People have forgotten all about them because, you know, without them, you wouldn't be free and you wouldn't be where you are today. So as a tribute to them, we asked families and we raised money so that we can get a wreath and a flag placed on each one of those graves at the time that they lay the wreath at the Arlington National Cemetery. So this year, I will tell you, we are very fortunate to say we did that at 74 cemeteries. We had 2,696 graves that we put wreaths and flags. But we had the community helping us because no man is an island. No woman is an island. We can't do it by ourselves. And this is something that Wreaths Across America has. They say remember, honor, and teach. So for us as military people, we want to teach you to keep that legacy going, to honor those people, because I don't know how many of you might have a family member that served this country, and serving this country is a major, major contribution. So that's one thing that we did. The next thing that we are so very honored, we have a display coming in February. We're still waiting on for the final thoughts at the Satilla Library. It's going to be for Georgia Congressman John Strickland Gibson. He is the man who made the helped pass the GI Bill for all of us to get our education. So that display will be at the library from February to March. I ask all of you, invite all of you to come over and read about a Douglas, Georgia congressman who is buried in the city cemetery and what he did for the military. Because without him, our educations we would not have gotten. But I'm very thankful, and I will be there. If any of you want to come help us out, please let us know and we'll let you sit, because it's a wealth of information and how he did this. Now they asked me to go over some other things. We do contests. Right now we have, if any fifth graders are in here, if you want to write an essay and win some money, you have to write a 250-word essay, What America Means to Me. Typed out, 12-point font, submitted to your teacher. We're going to grade, the counselors and teachers are going to grade them, give them to us. If you win first place, you get $100 in a plaque. Second place, $75 in a plaque. Third place, $50 in a plaque. And then we send it up to Valdosta to our district because we want you to gain some more money. Seniors, juniors, whatever you are, each year we have a contest on, it's oratorical contest. You speak about the articles and amendments. So like you're talking about speaking in front of people. I just came from Coffee High School where they were doing extemporaneous speaking. This is something that we're offering you, and one time one of our folks went all the way up to nationals. What this means? Money for school, because they give you scholarship money so you can make sure your education is paid for. We have many other things that we do. I hope you would take the time out when you see a picture as ugly as my face is to go in the paper. I do that all the time. But to just make sure you look and see what we're doing. If you want to come out and be involved, we're doing a flag ceremony with the Boy Scouts from Troop 859. They are taking all tattered flags from buildings and residents on the 16th and 17th from 1 to 4 and giving you a new flag to put up. In June, we are taking those same flags and disposing of them with dignity and honor, so you have the right way to burn a flag and not something showing protest. So those are some of the things that we are into. That's part of my story. Do you have any questions? Thank you.
I don't know why they get quiet in this setting, but they have so many questions when they're talking to me. One of the questions was, when you went overseas the first time, could you talk a little bit about that experience and how you got over the fear and the missing home, if that was the case?
I wasn't scared. I'm a country girl, so I wasn't scared. The first time I went overseas, I actually had a son. My son was young. He was 6. So I asked him if he would like to go to another country and learn about Europe and everything. And he said, sure. So there is a public school there, military, the high school that they had, which he ended up going to because they didn't have that many kids, only 300 kids. So sometimes what their lessons and stuff would be, they would go to Switzerland and learn about different people, and they went to Austria to learn about Mozart and everything. So he enjoyed that, and what I enjoyed was just the camaraderie with the various nations. So here's the one thing that I did learn. I learned never to try to make a Greek and a Turk talk to each other. You know why? They're still fighting. They hate each other. So there was nothing that I could say or do to get them to come in the same room and talk. I learned when I went to Turkey, I had to go for, we call them exercises. I learned never to give, I'm right-handed, but never to give anyone my left hand. Use your left hand for the bathroom, and it's an insult. A lot of countries do not eat with knives and forks. I'm country, so when I went to Turkey, I learned no knives and forks. You eat with your fingers. You mush food together and you eat. In Turkey, ladies have no rights. None. You are treated like a second-class citizen. I was walking along the street and dressed in my military uniform, and I looked down, and there was a lady, and both of her legs had been cut off. So I had an Italian soldier with me, and I asked him, I said, what happened to her? Was she in an accident? He said, no. Her family cut off her legs because the only thing she could do was beg. And she would get more money. She'd be more useful to them begging on the street than trying to walk. So a lot of the things you have today are pleasures compared to what people have in other countries. So I had a very wide, eye-opening situation. Here, for example, you know, when you get 18, your parents tell you, hurry, get out. In Italy, you can stay with your family in their house till you're married, till you're old, and everything else. They do not care, because what they're trying to do is make sure you're financially stable. In order for you to be successful, you have to be financially stable. So what they're going to do is make sure that you are by working and stay in the house. If you choose to leave and go somewhere else, they'll be very sad. But family is very important to them. Very important. Anything else?
Thank you.
Well, thank you all.
Thank you.
I just like to add, you're very beautiful. We'll now have our junior public information report by Ms. Samantha.
Good evening. Just a reminder, city offices will be closed Monday, January 21st in observance for Martin Luther King Jr. holiday. Also, our next residential junk drop-off day is this Saturday, January 19th, 8:30 to 12. We are accepting 2019 Mayor's Youth Council applications until January 18, 2019. For more information, call Ms. Williams at 912-384-3302 or 912-331-9398. The Douglas Coffee Teen Court and Still Needs Youth Volunteers meetings are the first Saturday of each month. For more information, call Ms. Williams, also at 384-3302. Transway's holiday schedules will be open Monday, January 21st for Martin Luther King Day. It will be a normal schedule. Job opportunities include firefighter full-time and part-time and volunteer, police officer full-time. To apply, go to cityofdouglas.com or apply in person at City Hall. Bid opportunities include baseball, softball, and swim supply. Deadline to submit is Monday, February 18th. To look for new bid opportunities with the City of Douglas, go to cityofdouglas.com/bids. For full event details, visit our website, cityofdouglas.com, or follow us on social media.
Thank you. I'd like to turn this back over to Ms. Williams.
Thank you. As a new part of our agenda, we are also having career spotlights, and that was why we extended an invitation for professionals to come and talk with you all about career opportunities and things that you have expressed that you are interested in. And one of the interests in that we have our very own Douglas Mayor in the house tonight. We're going to ask him to come forward because we have a youth that is interested in that position someday.
Good evening. How's everybody doing? Good. I'm normally not on this side, but before I get started, there's a couple things I want to say. The first thing is to Ms. Myers. Life, to me, with our youth is like bowling. You know, when you first learn to bowl, you have to have those little bumpers in there. And that's what the adults are for our youth. We want to keep them out the gutter. And your husband volunteered this time, one of the first ones to come out to volunteer, to try to keep our youth on the straight and narrow path. So for that, the City of Douglas is indebted to you and your family for allowing us to have him to help us. And we appreciate that. This
everything, the work with the scouts and everything. I teach my 48th year teaching.
Oh, Lord.
But, it's my last year because I'm getting ready to move to with my daughter. But I mean, we love what we did. We
Oh,
love
yes.
teaching at the college, everything.
So, and we're indebted to that. And that's what we try to do with our youth. They still need guidance. Look, I love everybody on the Mayor's Youth Council and Teen Court, but they're teenagers. I wouldn't trust them rascals outside of my sight for nothing. Because they're teenagers. They're teenagers they push the envelope. That's what they do. You couldn't trust me at 15, 16, 17. Just doing other things. The next thing is the military. I will always be Sergeant First Class Polk. I just like that guy. I like his confidence. I like his zeal, his zealousness. I like that guy. That guy is confident. That guy is a person that ascertains results. So when you look at the military, you may go in one way, but I promise you, you will come out a different way. You will come out a different way. And that's what I try to get individuals to understand. Yes, I joke with her because she's the Air Force and I'm the Army. I joke on everybody. Don't put your hands on them, though. Don't put your hands on them. Because then we both go get you. So let me talk to you about the mayor. The first time I became the mayor, I was like 40 years old. And I was actually at a barbershop. And I was upset about a road, Gaskin Avenue. I was like, won't they pave Gaskin Avenue south? They pave it everywhere except for Gaskin. It's flooding, it's doing all this, it's doing all that. And came down to City Hall to talk to a few people. Oh, we'll get to it, oh, we'll get to it, we'll get to it. So we were at the barbershop and we were in a conversation. And I was like, man, you know something? can run this city. I can be the mayor of Douglas. And they say, well, what makes you qualified to be the mayor of Douglas? I say, first of all, I'm a citizen of the U.S. I have $140 because that's what the fee was at that time. And I'm a registered citizen. You know, just think about this right here. To be the president of the United States, I think you have to be 35. You have to be born in the U.S. That's about it. That's about it. There's no college degree or any resume that has to be built. You just have to go out and knock on doors and get the most votes, and you win. So when I ran the first time, it was, who is this guy? Who is this Tony Polk guy? So I actually had to carry around my yearbook, page 54, to show folks, because I had retired from the military and I had been gone for a minute. So I had to go, hey, look, my daddy's name is Oscar Polk. They call him Plug. My mama is Mother Baker. My grandma, Emma Lou. I don't know you, son. I don't know you, son. Look, da-da-da-da-da. I had to have my mama with me, my family with me, everybody out there to show people that I was from Douglas. So we get out there. It's a military operation. Everything that I do is a military operation. So I'm over there. We're planning how we're going to do this. Now remember now, I got mad because they wouldn't pave Gaskin Avenue. That's why I ran, because they would not pave Southside Gaskin Avenue, because it used to flood right there in front of the block. You know what I mean? So guess what? When the Lord blessed me to be the mayor, I had no idea what I was doing. No idea what I was doing. So what did I do? I do what I do best. I'm a soldier. You come into a new environment, you identify friend and foe, you always do position improvement, and you learn the area. Well, in this case, I had to go to GMA, Georgia Municipal Association, and I had to learn about stuff. I had to learn about city budgeting. I had to learn about policies and procedures, how to get along with individuals, how to do this right here. Gaskin Avenue was paved. You know, over there on the 9th grade academy, that big old hole over there. That's where all the water goes, from right there in front of the block of the George Washington Carver Center. So, being the mayor, it gives you the opportunity to help individuals. And this is something that I actually stumbled into. Excuse me. I did not know, I'm currently 55 years old, that I would find satisfaction in being a public servant. I did 15 years in the military. I work for the federal government now. I'm about to hit 20 years there, and I've been the mayor for 7 years. So at the age of 55, I have spent 42 years in public service. 42 years in public service. So being the mayor of Douglas gives you the opportunity to be at that decision table, to say, hey, this is what I think is best for the city of Douglas. Through my eyes, trying to persuade somebody to come up, because in the city of Douglas, 4 votes do move anything. So you have to be able to talk to individuals, and you have to be able to articulate your points. So the first time I served as the mayor, I wanted a mayor's youth council. For the life of me, I couldn't get that off the ground. But you know, as the mayor, I thought that the citizens needed to know more about government. Then I found out they really don't want to know. They really don't want to know. And as you are in a position, you learn about stuff. You know, the biggest thing I learned the first time as the mayor is citizens do not know what government does. That's the first thing I learned. What they saw about the city of Douglas wasn't true. Not everybody down at City Hall was mean and unwilling to help. People bend over backwards to help. But now also remember, now citizens don't always tell the whole truth too. And it's difficult to help that. So, but guess what? As the mayor, I'll pick up the phone. Hey, Wynetta, check it out. Hey, I know she did wrong, but can you help her? Well, Mayor, we can do this right here. Or I call the city manager. Hey, what about this? Sometimes you can't help, because sometimes people put themselves in a position that they're unhelpable. They just have. So I try to get people to understand about being the mayor of Douglas is being at that decision table. This time, you know what? First time I wanted a Christmas tree. You know what I mean? I couldn't get that Christmas tree. There's a big Christmas tree over there now. Why did I want that Christmas tree? Because I love the holidays. Everybody's nicer. Everybody's more tolerable. You can get just about anything you want during Christmas time. I mean, people are not mean. If somebody's mean during Christmas time, they just mean. You know what I mean? If you saw me at the parade, I was throwing out candy. Don't throw out candy. It's illegal. Don't throw out candy. Because when I was growing up, they threw out candy. I'm 55, but I'm a kid at heart. I am a public servant. You know, I want to be at that table. I serve on the Economic Development Authority. Hey, look, I understand that company want to come here. That company coming here is not doing any good. We don't need no more $8 an hour jobs. We need some jobs going to pay somebody $15, $20, $30 an hour. But guess what? To be the mayor, I'm at that table. I'm at that table. No. We're not giving up all the citizens' money just for those rascals to come here. No, we're not doing that. But guess what? I also get to say, hey, City Pool is old. It's 50 years old. I learned to swim in that pool. Well, we're going to spend $750 to renovate it. Okay. Got that up to $2 million, baby. We're going to have a state-of-the-art swimming pool. Then, guess what? Out there at Jordan Stadium, we're going to put another 3 football fields out there. We're going to put another 5 baseball fields out there. As the mayor of Douglas, I get to sit at those tables and try to influence decisions that I think is best for the city of Douglas. Now, what does that mean? As the mayor of Douglas, I'm going to tell you how I have lived my entire life as a public servant. In the Army, my soldiers told me what to do. Because if the people you lead are talking to you, you're probably doing all right. At work, Miss Jamie Daniels is one of the supervisors that I supervise. She tells me what to do all day. Everybody in City Hall tells me what to do. Widener, Mayor, that ain't gonna work. Mayor, that ain't gonna work. Georgia, no, that ain't gonna work. Charlie, oh, that ain't gonna work. Well, what about this right here? But every time we sit down and we come up with a conversation, how is it gonna work? And then you get somebody to buy into your idea. You get somebody to buy into your idea. Widener, I think I want to do this mayor's youth council. I think it'll work. Oh, I think this mayor, okay, cool. We was at a chat and chew, trying to get the mayor's youth council off. Had a pretty good chat and chew. She walks over. How can I help? I take over there to Miss Widener. Hey, look, we got somebody. She don't know what she's getting into, but we got somebody. You know what I mean? And she has taken off and she's been running. You think about this right here. Then we got teen court. All right, I don't think we can do teen court at the same time. Why not? We can do both of them. We can do both of them. And guess what we did?
We did both of them.
But you know what? You know why you're here? It's because I got mad as the mayor again. Oh, our youth are worthless. They are no good. They all in trouble. No, they're not. You're telling a lie. There are outstanding youth in the city of Douglas and Coffee County, and I can prove it. And guess what? Y'all prove it every day. Y'all prove it. The Coffee High Trojans prove it. The Boy Scouts prove it. Parks and Recreation prove it all the time. You know, as a child, I was a bad kid. Look, when I went to college, I had to get my transcripts. I made 12 D's. 12 D's now. Listen to me. 12. You can't even make a D now. You can't even make a D. But guess what? When I got in the military, now I was focused. Professor Peacher told me in American government, my first day of class, he said, Sergeant Paul, what's wrong? I said, man, this isn't for me. Because I actually went to college to prove to my wife that I wasn't smart enough to go to college. She kept aggravating me about going to college. I said, girl, I'm not smart enough to go to college. But Professor Peacher, he said, Sergeant Paul, explain something to me. Why are you intimidated? I said, this is just not for me. He said, according to the rank that you have on your collar, you've done very well. I said, yeah. The rank that I had, average was 17.5 years. I made it in 10. He said, what about your military school? I said, I'm always honor graduate or distinguished honor graduate. When I show up at a military school and I introduce myself, hey, I'm Sergeant Paul, I'm the honor graduate. I don't know what else y'all doing here. Because I was confident. And Professor Peacher said, pretend that the Army sent you to college. Light went off. Because then I came up with a plan. You understand? My plan is any class I take, I read every chapter, I make 2 questions for every paragraph. 2 questions for every paragraph. Sometimes I'll have 10 pages of typed notes, and I would memorize that. So I went to school at night, I went to school in the morning, I took independent studies, I even took a class on Saturday. In 2 years, 4 months, I graduated magna cum laude, 3.89 GPA. Now remember, I made 12 D's. Magna cum laude, some people would say I'm smart. But the military put that in me. The military is all about working together, having a mission. That's the same thing that we do here in the city of Douglas. I'm the liaison between the citizens of Douglas and the staff. I'm not trying to put the staff against the citizens or the citizens against the staff. My job is to be able to take what the citizens say, communicate it to the staff, see if we can come to an understanding that's in policy. Because guess what? Whoever wants to be the mayor, they put mayors in prison now for breaking the law. You understand? They put them in prison. But you also have to understand is that being the mayor of Douglas gives you the opportunity to create an environment that is safe, where people can come and raise a family. And I take that very, very seriously. So when you decide that you want to get into public office, it will change you. It will change you. You have to understand that being the mayor of Douglas is still not my greatest title. My greatest title is daddy. For the life of me, I cannot figure out why God decided to make me a father. That just blows my mind that I have 2 beautiful, intelligent daughters. And I want to try to create an environment for them to be safe. The Mayor's Youth Council is just an ideal to showcase how great our youth are. The teen court, you know why teen court exists? For an unknown adult, a young adult that made a mistake, that they don't get crushed right there. You understand? So that they don't get crushed, so they don't have that on them for the rest of their lives. Because guess what? I would have needed teen court. You understand me? I would have been in alternative school. There's no doubt about it. I would have had on khakis and a white shirt. There's no doubt about it. But as the mayor of Douglas, hopefully I can show that kid, you know, it's okay. You know, my mom and dad got divorced. Okay, that doesn't mean anything. Okay, I lived in the projects. That don't mean anything. I was on food stamps when they had paper money and plastic coins. That don't mean anything. That doesn't mean anything. Because guess what? You can still wake up and decide that one day you want to be an elected official. You can still wake up and decide that one day you want to be a college graduate. There are more old people in college than there are young people. So but think about this right here, and I'm going to leave you with this right here. As an elected official, I get to help the people that help me be me. those people that are on the block. Mr. J.D. Murray, Mr. King, Mr. Harrell, Mr. Swanson, Mr. Dewey Wales, Mr. William McNear, Mr. Lott, Mr. Richardson. Those guys kept me out of trouble. As the mayor of the city of Douglas, I want my community to look like the great community that it is. Just like my wife and I, we invested in Polk Plaza because I got mad because my community looked crappy over there. But I had the means to change it. So that's why Polk Plaza is over there. You'll see on the bottom it says PGPU at the bottom. It stands for Please God Protect Us. So as the mayor of the city of Douglas, I'm doing the same thing. I'm trying to protect the citizens of Douglas. And guess what? It's got to be on your heart. Public service has got to be on your heart. And sometimes you can bend the rules and sometimes you can't. But always remember this right here. At the end of the day, you just want your community to be better. That's all I want. I don't want anything else. I don't want to argue. I don't want to fuss or fight. I'll compromise with anybody. I've been married 31 years. I'm never right in my house. You know what I mean? If I'm right, it's like once every 10 years. So I've been right 3 times in 31 years. It's not important to be right as the mayor. It's just not. What's important is that you do what's right for the citizens of Douglas. And what's doing what's right for the citizens of Douglas may not be doing what's right for you. So, to be an elected official, always remember, it's really never about you. Okay? It's about the citizens. Love y'all. Appreciate you.
Well, Mayor, with your wife, I want to say you're going to always be wrong. We're going to have a few comments from just the members. I'm going to start with the Ward 5, Ms. Martin.
First, I would like to thank everyone for coming, and I would also like to thank Commander Walker, Mayor Polk, and District Attorney Sansott for speaking to us. I would like to congratulate the basketball teams for Coffee High School. They're all doing great. Also, the Coffee High wrestling team is qualified for state, and this weekend they're competing. They left yesterday. Wishing them luck. And I'm going to end with the Martin Luther King quote. Whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly. I can never be what I ought to be until you are what you ought to be. This is an interrelated structure of reality. So everyone should think on that.
I like that. All right, now we're going to hear a few comments from Ward 3, Ms. Glover.
I would just like to thank everybody for coming out. And my quote for tonight is, the time is always right to do the right thing. And that quote means a lot to me because, you know, even though people make it very hard, I always try to do the right thing. And I think that we should all try to do the right thing. And so, yeah, that's it.
Well, thank you, though.
You're welcome.
It's a good thing to think on for tonight. We're now here from our finance officer and city attorney, Ms. Davis.
I just want to start off with my quote first. It's, if you can't fly, run. If you can't run, walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But by all means, keep moving. And like the mayor says, like, he got shut down, but he kept on going, and like that's how change happens. And I would just really like to thank everybody who came out to talk about their careers, because as a senior, I'm still very confused with what I want to do. And everybody's always on us to make our decisions, and it's just really hard. But hearing from everybody that's got their lives sorted out, it's really inspirational, actually. And I took the ASVAB too, and the automobile part, talking about like the engines and stuff like that, that whooped my tail. I probably need to study up on that if I take it again, but I just wanted to thank everybody for talking and being here.
Some great comments for tonight. We're now here from our city clerk, Ms. Thrower.
Good evening, everyone. I just wanted to thank everybody that spoke to us today. Very intelligent people. I kind of had the same quote that Mr. So, no matter what, Douglas is a great place, but do not get stuck here. Move on and maybe come back and help out, like Ms. Walker did and everybody else that made a difference. Leave and come back. Thank you.
I like that. We'll now hear from our Mayor Pro Tem, Ms.
I just want to say congratulations, Emery and Ashanti, and thank you, Mr. Ian, Ms. Walker, and Mayor for coming out tonight and just telling us about y'all and everything. There is the Southeast District DPA 4-H competition that is held in Rock Eagle. It's February the 1st through the 3rd, and I will be competing with many more of our community. We will head up, and I just want to say good luck and pray for safe travelings. The ECIM 2019 Entrepreneur Gala is Saturday, February the 9th with the Empire Church. It will be at 141 South Peterson Avenue at 6 p.m. If you have any information, contact 478-408-8801. And also want to thank you, Ms. Myers, for coming out tonight. The little bit of time that I did get to meet with your husband and know him, he was a very sweet guy, and you have a great one. And I just want to end with my quote, and it says, "In the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends." Thank y'all.
Well, I want to say I hope you have safe travels and do very good.
Thank you.
We'll now hear from our city attorney, Mr. Tatum.
How everybody doing? I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. My MLK quote was, "We must accept finite disappointment, but never lose infinite hope." And that means a lot to me as far as, you know, being so determined, like doing things and get disappointed, you know, falling, but, you know, you'll never know what it feels like to get back up if you didn't fall. So you always fall, but you always have that one time where you'll get back up more than you fail. So just keep pushing, and everything happens for a reason. So you fail, but you fail to succeed. Thank y'all.
I think that was some great words coming from down there. I guess it's my turn, huh? First, I'd like to thank everybody for sitting up here. Y'all look really beautiful tonight. Give yourselves a hand. Also, I'd like to thank Miss White, Nelda, and Miss Williams. You guys have did an excellent job, and I know it's not easy running behind us, but I just want to appreciate you guys from the bottom of my heart. And for everybody that came out tonight, you just don't know what it does to our heart to see you guys that support us and support just the people in this community. You guys, you rock. You just are so excellent. The mayor, I'd like to thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to come up here and give those great words on tonight. They really were appreciated. Also, I'd just like to give a big shout out to Mr. Tatum down there. He has qualified and was able to get the Zell Miller Scholarship and was one of the top in our class. I'd just like to congratulate him on doing that. My quote from Dr. Martin Luther King was, "Everybody can be great because anybody can serve. You don't have to have a college degree to serve. You don't have to make your own subject and your verb agree to serve. You only need a heart full of grace and a soul generated by love." And I think that kind of spoke to me tonight, watching you, you know, give those great speeches about what you did, and it was because you had the heart and the love for it, and so did Mr. Myers. He was so great, and we do miss him. It's because he had the love to do, you know, what he did, and it also shined a light on the mayor for tonight, because if you didn't do what you loved, we wouldn't be up here. We wouldn't be the first to be the first mayor of youth council or have that first team court, and I think it's all because of love, and I think that's what Dr. Martin Luther King was trying to say. If there's no further business on our agenda for tonight, may I have a motion to adjourn?
I, Samantha Martin, first that motion.
Can I get a second?
I, Savannah Cawthorn, second that motion.
Meeting is adjourned. Thank you so much.